Hi, this is Gary with MacMost Now. Well, today Apple finally announced their tablet. It's called the iPad. Let's take a look. So, what is the iPad? Well, it's like an iPod Touch, but with a very large screen, a fast processor, and some interesting options. The device measures 9.5 inches tall by 7.5 inches wide, and it's only half an inch thick. It's got a multi-touch screen. It's got a dock connector, just like the iPod Touch and the iPhone. So what can you do with it? Well, you can listen to music, you can watch a video, you can surf the web, you can check your email, and you can use any app that exists in the App Store for the iPhone or iPod Touch. In addition to that, you can also purchase and read books on it. It has an ebook reader called iBooks on it and an iBook store to go alongside iTunes and the App Store where you can purchase books. But it also uses a standard EPUB format for books, so it'll be interesting to see if we can get books from other sources other than Apple. So hardware-wise, it features a brand new processor, and it's a processor made by Apple. I'm sure Apple cut the production cost down quite a bit by making their own processor instead of having to buy them from Intel. It's called the Apple A4 processor. Now also inside you get from 16 to 64 gigabytes of memory. It comes with Wi-Fi, complete 802.11n standard. It also has Bluetooth. In addition, there's an accelerometer and a compass as well. So battery life. The iPad boasts a 10-hour battery life. Now, according to Jobs' presentation, this will last even if you're watching video. He said you could watch a video on a 10-hour plane flight. So there have been some interesting accessories already announced for it. One is a dock with a full-size keyboard. There's also going to be a dock connector that accepts a SD card so you can load pictures from your camera directly into the iPad, and also one that goes to USB so you can hook your camera up to the iPad. It also looks like, according to the tech specs, that there will be video output cables that go from the dock to either a composite standard video or VGA, so you can make presentations from the iPad. Now, this capability would be useful if you're using one of the iWork applications that you can get for the iPad. For $10 each, you can get Pages, Numbers, and Keynote, and you can create documents as well as view them. There's some other inputs and outputs. There's going to be speakers built into it. There's also going to be a headphone jack. There's going to be a built-in mic. No word yet on whether or not the headphone jack supports the microphone just like the iPhone's headphone jack does. And in addition to that, there's going to be a SIM card slot for the 3G models only. The buttons are the same as on the iPhone. There's a top button for on, off, and sleep. There's a mute switch and a volume up and down. There's also the big home button at the bottom of the screen. Now, the iPad's going to come in two main flavors. One is going to be Wi-Fi only. The other is going to be Wi-Fi plus 3G. This means that you could use data plans from wireless carriers. Now, Apple announced a special plan available from AT&T, a $15 plan for a limited data amount for every month, and an unlimited plan at $30. This is much cheaper than most unlimited data plans out there for laptops. In addition, though, it's an unlocked device. So if you have a GSM 3G card that you can use with it, assuming that the carrier lets you, you can use any carrier you want. So about the plan from AT&T, apparently it's prepaid. You can purchase it right on the iPad, so you don't have to have an ongoing monthly plan. It seems like you'll be able to buy it month to month if you want. Okay, so pricing. The cheapest version of the iPad is going to be $499 in the United States. Now, that's a 16 gigabyte version of the iPad without the 3G chip. There's also a 32 gigabyte and a 64 gigabyte at $599 and $699 each. Now, if you want the 3G chip, you have to pay exactly $130 over each of those three prices. So when's it available? Well, Steve said it's going to be out in 60 days. That means the end of March. Now, the 3G versions are going to be delayed another month, so that'll be the end of April for those. So what doesn't the iPad do? Well, one notable omission is no camera, either front or back, on the iPad. Another thing is this is not a Mac. This is definitely an iPod Touch-like device. You can't just install regular software on there. You have to buy it from the App Store. Another thing is that you don't have the GPS in it unless you have the 3G chip on the more expensive models. I think the most interesting feature of the iPad is that it can use any iPhone app. It apparently can do this in two different modes. One is it puts the iPhone app in the center of the screen at the regular resolution. Another is it pixel doubles every pixel in there to basically enlarge it on your screen. A third mode kind of is if the app is built for being on the iPad, it can display at full resolution. Now a lot of apps that are already using 3D models and vector graphics should be able to scale up quite quickly, and a lot of developers may even have their apps out and ready for the iPad by the time it launches at the end of March. Oh, and by the way, if you've already purchased a whole bunch of apps for your iPhone or iPod Touch, all you're going to have to do is plug your iPod into your Mac, sync it with iTunes, and you can move all of those apps to your iPad without having to pay for them again. So that summarizes today's news. When the iPad is out, I'll have reviews and tutorials, and in addition, any news between now and then, I'll be sure to post things to Twitter and to Facebook. Till next time, this is Gary Rosenzweig with MacMost Now.